Hello, class. Professor Beasley here. I just wanted to elaborate with you and discuss the team charter assignment. I know I mentioned this briefly before the break, and you have access to the file, but I wanted to give you a little bit more insight about what the point is of the team charter and what you're expected to do to complete the file. So the goal of the team charter assignment is to get you and your teammates on the same page. The team charter establishes your team goals. It identifies what each of your individual strengths are. It gives you an idea of, like, if communication breaks down or if people aren't completing assignments on time, what you are going to do as a team to alleviate those problems and to move forward. So that's the goal of the team charter. It really just is meant as a guiding document for your group so that your group has the best possible way to succeed, or at least a path to demonstrate the best possible way to succeed with your group. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen now so that I can show you the charter assignment, if I can find it. There we go. All right, I found it. So the team charter assignment is just a couple of page, maybe 3-page document. And so it's really pretty easy to complete. You should have this completed by this upcoming Sunday, which is April the 5th. Yeah, April the 5th. So it won't take you very long to complete. Really, you just need to probably hop on together onto some sort of like Zoom meeting or Skype or something like that to discuss it. You can also do it through email. When I took a class similar to this and we did a team charter, we were able to accomplish all of this through email and also through the chat through Canvas. So section 1, of course, you've got your team name. You can put whatever your team name is here, and I will update that in Canvas so that it will reflect your team name. So you'll complete that part. And then section 1 is your team goals. So you're going to list out 4 to 6 goals that your team shares. And so you're looking at high-level goals as well as specific and measurable goals. So obviously one of your high-level goals might be to get a good grade on the your final assignment, right? Like that might be the overall goal. But you might also want to establish good team building practices, or you might want to make sure everything is submitted on time. So there's different things that you can set as your goals there. So you're looking at the goals that are related to your assignment, but they can again also be goals that are more universal, like getting a good grade, like I mentioned, turning things in on time, those sorts of things. So you'll list 4 to 6 specific goals that are for your entire team. Now, the group assignment that you're working on is, just to give you a little bit of background, is going to be a survey. So you are currently, and this week you will be working on your next assignment, which includes researching a workplace problem. You will take that workplace problem, you will pitch it to your group, and then ultimately your group is going to make a survey based on that information. And so you'll send the survey out to other students in the class, and then you will ultimately write a report based on that survey. So there's really a couple of pieces that you're working on with your group, one of which is, actually 3, I guess. You are going to select your topic for the survey. Then you are going to create the survey, and then you're going to write a report that's based on the information that you get from the survey. So there's kind of 3 different things you'll be working on. So as you're looking at your team goals, you might look back at those assignments and then identify what specifically you're being asked to do, which will help you know what your actual goals are going to be. Section 2 is personal goals. So you have a 4-member team. Each member of your team should list out 1 goal for themselves that they hope to accomplish throughout this project. It may replicate some of the team goals. If a team goal is that you want to build your leadership skills, and then the same thing as your personal goal, technically that's fine, I guess. But it should be a goal that's related to this project. We're not looking at goals like things you want to accomplish in your life. necessarily, though this could lend to that, right? Like if you're trying to build leadership skills or you're trying to build organizational skills, that can lead to future success in your jobs. But I'm not looking for, I want to get a job in a Fortune 500 company. I'm looking more for how do you plan to succeed with this particular assignment. Number 3 are potential obstacles that you might face during this group project. And then you're also going to identify how you will respond to those obstacles. So some obstacles might include things like you're now telecommuting, right? You can't meet face to face. So that might be an obstacle. So then you would identify a response to that obstacle. We all know that teamwork is challenging. So there may be some obstacles related to group work in general. There may be some obstacles related to maybe different people being in different locations, maybe not being able to access the internet, right? So there's different things that you might identify as obstacles for your team, and then you will write a response to each of those obstacles to identify how you will overcome those obstacles. Number 4 is conflict resolution. So you will write a 1 to 2 sentence protocol for resolving conflict. So for instance, if you have some sort of conflict within your team, maybe you're going to have a team meeting, and then you're going to maybe vote and establish what your group is going to do. So really, this just identifies if there are challenges, if you have a team member who's not participating, if you have a team member who's being overbearing and not listening to the rest of the group, how are you going to respond to those sorts of challenges and conflicts that you might have with your group project. Section 5 is missed deadlines. So you're going to determine a protocol for if a member is 24 hours, 48 hours, or 72 hours late in completing their assignment. So sometimes teams get confused about this. And what the goal here is that if somebody is 24 hours late in completing their part of the assignment, maybe you're going to send them an email or call them to remind them that they need to do what they need to do. If you don't hear anything else and they're 48 hours late, what is going to be your response, right? So you're going to kind of have a hierarchy where you establish what's going to happen in the short term, the medium term, and the long term with each of these goals. So 24 hours late, maybe you call an email. 48 hours late, you reassign that work to a different team member just in case the work can't be completed. And then 72 hours late, maybe you communicate with me that the person has not responded and is not helping with your group, and then maybe I would intervene, right? So I'm not telling you that that's what you should write. I'm just telling you that you should identify some potential responses that you're going to have if any of your team members are late submitting their document. Okay, and then the last section is the communication plan. And so what this is going to do is help you know how you are going to communicate throughout the length of your project. So you have 3 different categories where something is urgent, something is medium importance, and something is low importance. Urgent would be things like people miss a deadline, somebody needs to send a file, reminders for upcoming deadlines, things like that. Medium importance is going to need a response within 24 hours. So urgent, you're looking at something immediate, you need an immediate answer. For medium importance, it's more like a 24-hour response. Maybe somebody needs to edit a draft of a document, like you're requesting them to help you with your edit, something like that. And then low importance, which would need response within 48 hours, might be congratulatory notes, things like, hey, you did a great job. It might be things along those lines. Also social messages about things that you might be doing, just kind of nice, jokey messages that you might have as a group. All right, so those are the 3 categories we're looking at, and then you're going to compare those with each of these items that are listed here on the left. So you have individual communication, which is one-to-one. So that might be just one team member communicating with another team member. So it may be very important, for instance, if you're the team leader and you need somebody to, like you're reminding somebody of a deadline, right? So that would be something that you would maybe see as being urgent, right? Whereas medium importance, low importance, you can establish what all of those mean. So with individual communication, you might need somebody, again, to respond to an edit of your draft, or you might just be saying, hey, good job on that, you did a nice job, in which case that's low importance, needs a response within 48 hours, or in some instances may not need a response at all. All right, So you will do that going through each of these different categories, which are individual communication, group communication, simple messages, such as send me your edits, complex messages, which might need a little bit more explanation, file sharing, like how you plan to share your files. That may be through Google Docs, that may be through something like Slack, it may be through, if Canvas has an option for that you feel like would work, you could do it that way. Most teams that I've worked in have used Google Docs, but it's completely up to you for what you think is going to be best. Microsoft Teams is also an option. And then collaboration is the last one, which is co-authoring group discussions that are not face-to-face. So that may be that you're having a team meeting or something like that. You would include those there. And then you have a couple of sections where you can put other bits of information or things that you might identify you might need to communicate about. All right, and then I believe this is the last section. So you will establish team roles. Within your team, you're going to have you're going to have one person who is your team leader, who will be the person who kind of overall manages the project. You also need to establish people that maybe are going to be researchers, because they're going to go and research additional data information about your topic. You might have somebody that's going to be your editor. You might have somebody who's going to create your visuals. So you have different roles within your team that you can establish, and this is where you put those there. You may have somebody that's going to be like the person who does the bulk of the writing. You might have somebody who compiles the entire report at the end, and then makes edits on it. There's any number of different things, and people can have more than one role, right? So you may have your team leader who is also going to be the person who does your final, maybe your final review of the report. So you can establish those different things within your team, establish your team member role, and then the strengths that those people have. So with your strengths, you're going to look at things like organized, or good leadership skills, or excellent writer, different things like that. So you as an individual will establish what your strengths are, and then you're going to include that here on this report. So you'll do that for each of your team members. And again, one thing to remember is while you're establishing roles, that doesn't mean you're limited to only doing those tasks. You're going to be doing tasks that are related to not just your job, but other people, because you're working as a team, and it's all going to be one assignment. So this team charter should be submitted through Canvas. It is a group assignment, so only one person will need to submit it, and it is due on Sunday, April the 5th. I will have a Zoom session tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. I believe I sent the link to all of you for that. But you can connect with me at that time. You can connect with me at other times. I'm happy to chat with you through Zoom. I'm happy to answer questions through email if any of you are confused about this assignment. So please just let me know whatever it is that I can do to help. And this document really is intended to be a guide for your group. And it also creates accountability, because if you have team members that were assigned certain roles and those roles are not being completed on time, or they are not responding to emails, they are not communicating with you, this will help you to show me at that time, hey, this team member is not doing their end of the bargain. We need some help. It's been 3 days. And they're supposed to be editing the document, they haven't edited it, and it's due in a week, or whatever the case may be. And then I know that you have your protocol in place, the student has not done what they've been expected to do, and then that can help me if I need to intervene in case there is some sort of challenge. But hopefully each of you will have groups that work well together, and you'll be able to complete this assignment with no problem. I know that all of you are very capable and you're very smart. And so I believe that you'll end up with some really good assignments. But as always, I'm here to help. Just let me know what I can do. And I appreciate you guys checking in on this video. Thank you.